Yeah, it's a fantastic car. It's Volkswagen F3 engine, detuned to about 185 brake horsepower. But it's a really, really enjoyable car to drive. You need to be very smooth, but very hard on the brakes. And it's a very good series for developing a young driver for the higher categories of motorsport. But when you're actually out there driving, the engine itself feels fantastic. The gearbox is maintained beautifully. So it's a real joy to drive. No, it's actually one of the lower powered cars that I've driven. But there's quite a lot of grip out on track, so it really does put an importance on corner speed, being able to use the downforce effectively to attain the lap time. Because other similar categories maybe have slightly higher brake horsepower, but it's still a real joy to drive. Yeah, definitely. I mean, to be able to learn as a driver, you need to be able to, stamp on the brakes with 80 bar of pressure when you have the downforce. Maybe you're doing 130 miles an hour, and then bleed off the brakes, because if you held it, then you're just going to lock up. So learning the edge of grip with the downforce is hugely important, because that is where all the lap time is in these cars. Because if you're quick in the mechanical areas, the slower speed corners, it's okay. But at the end of the day, if you look at something like turn 5 and 6 here in Sepang, without being quick through there, you're not going to have a competitive lap time. So it's very important. Well, I mean, to be honest, if we use the fastest corner on the track here, you're in 5th gear, turn 5 and 6, you're 5th gear, you send it in, and you're flat. Now, on Thursday, on my new tyres, I was flat all the way through. So when you've got that, you can really feel the G loading in the car. And, it's a real exciting thing to be doing, because you're doing maybe 100 mile an hour through that corner. 5th gear, absolutely flat. And when we looked on the onboard video, it was absolutely beautiful. So, it makes the car very fun to drive. But then at the same time, as your tyres wear away, the car's going to get a bit oversteery. So it really teaches you car control. Well, yeah, it's a very good point. It is a small cockpit, and I'm a tall driver, so it took quite a while to fit me in the car. It's very important that you have the ability to move your hands as quickly as possible, because, you need to make sure you're comfortable in the car, but when you're actually in it, you feel your whole body being swung to one side of the car, but then at the same time your belts are all very tight, so you can really feel the car as if it's a part of your body, and that's how a racing car should feel. Well, that's a very good question. I mean, I don't actually use the radio system here because we're safe wake. That's one factor which I don't have to deal with. Even when I was using the radio, to be honest, it comes down to the driver and his mind management. I do a lot of exercises with mind management to be able to be under duress. So let's say here, 34 degrees, 95% humidity. Driving a racing car to its limit every single corner of every single lap. And at the same time being able to come in and give feedback to your engineer. We all have to be very fit. I'm very fit. I've worked very hard on my training for the last few years. So it does take, it's both mind and body together to make it work. Yeah, it's hugely important, because at the end of the day, let's say the next step for a driver would be Formula 3. Now, you're spending a whole load of money to be able to drive a Formula 3 car, and if you come in and say to the team, oh, I can't hold the car, then you're wasting everyone's time. So, and at the same time, if you aren't worrying about fitness, you can worry 100% about what's happening on track, which is really, really important. But for my gym training, I have 2 fitness sponsors, XYZ, which is a spinning cardiovascular workout, and also Joint Dynamics, who do my personal training and body analysis. But I work out maybe five times a week, and then also including some yoga, Pilates, there's weight training, body weight training. Coming into this race, I was actually training in saunas and steam rooms, doing press-ups and body weight exercises to be ready for the extreme humidity. Well, Bitcoin is actually something I'm very interested in general, because before I started motor racing, I was actually into economics and finance, mainly the banking system. The fantastic thing about Bitcoin is the fact that normally with a fiat currency which the government forces you to accept as legal tender, you're having to accept it and it has value because the government says it does. Fantastic thing about Bitcoin is it's the people saying, oh, actually we value this, so it's completely in the control of the people. So I think it's a revolutionary idea which is slowly being accepted into the current financial system. But working with them, basically you can go to my website www.danwellsracing.com, and I'm the first racing driver in the world to accept investment, sponsorship, even track day payments in form of Bitcoin. We've been working together for a few months now. It's a fruitful relationship and I'm really looking forward to making more of it in the future.